Okay, your next digital challenge is to take an inanimate object and bring it to life by combining different photos. So I'm going to step you through the process of getting started with that. So first I need to come up with an idea and find a photograph. And a good place to look for photographs is pixabay.com. We've used it before. It has high quality, royalty-free artwork. So I think I'm going to make like a literal potato head. And maybe I'll put it on a beach. So I'm going to look for a background picture first. I'm just going to search for beach and try to find a photo that I like. Maybe I'll do this one. So when you click on it, you can log in with your Google account and download. I always pick the largest size just to be safe. And now I'm going to go to Photoshop. I'm going to make my new document, which you need to make either 8 by 10 or 5 by 7 inches. Doesn't matter if it's horizontal or vertical. So I think my photo was horizontal, so I'm going to make it 10 wide and 8 high with a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. That way, if we decide to print it, it will have good quality. And now I'm going to open up that photo that I downloaded. So it should go to your downloads folder unless you select a different location. And then as soon as that pops up, I'll be able to drag it and drop it over onto the new document I created that is the right size. There it is. All right, so I have my move tool. I'm just gonna go up and then hover and drop it down. And then I can resize it because this photo is actually a little bit bigger than the document I made. So if I zoom out, Control minus, it's easier to see how I want to frame it. If you're using Photoshop 2020, don't hold the Shift key when you resize, but if you're using CS2, you need to hold the Shift key, otherwise things can get distorted. So that'll work for now. I'm going to do Control plus to zoom back in, and now I need to go and find a photo that I want to work with. I'm going to show you the other way you can find a photo. So I'm going to do a Google image search, and I'm going to look for a potato. So I'm going to do images, tools. I'm going to change the size to large, and I'm going to change usage rights to Creative Commons. That way I know I have permission to use it and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm looking for just a plain potato. So I can try to look here, and you also could use Pixabay again. I just wanted to show you those search tools. This one will be nice if it is as big as I think it is, because it has a really clean background. So it should be very easy to get rid of the background. All right, so that's downloaded. I'm going to open it in Photoshop. I don't know why it's not showing that photo. There we go. Open. And I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can select this potato. So since it has a pretty clean background, you could try the magic eraser tool first. I actually am going to unlock the background by double clicking on it. So the magic eraser tool got rid of everything except the shadow. So that was a pretty easy way to do it. But if you have more than just a solid color in your background, it probably won't work very well. You can try the quick selection tool that will let you just kind of go over it. Once again, since it has a high contrast background, that's working really easily. I'm going to do Control D to deselect and show you some other options. The magnetic lasso tool would also work well here. So you kind of click when you get to points just that you want to make sure it doesn't jump off the edge till you get all the way back around to the top. So if I have it selected like that, I can copy it. The shortcut's Control C. I can hop over to this document. I don't know why it's not showing my beach. There it is. And the shortcut is Control V to paste. So there I've added my potato. Let's go back and talk about another way we could do this. Control D. If you select your background, you can hold down the Shift key to add to it. Then you can go to Select Inverse, and then it's selected. So sometimes it's easier to select what you don't want and then invert it. Okay, So back over here, I have my potato. I can just click on it to move it around. If I want to give it an angle, I can do Control T. I can go up by a corner and hover. To rotate, I can make it larger or smaller. You don't want to make things a lot larger when you're using pixel-based images because it can make them kind of fuzzy. All right, so now I need to add on to my photo. So to make this potato look alive, maybe I'm going to give it some teeth. So you just start kind of thinking, what do you want to add to make it look alive? What would be funny? That's a pretty nice mouth. Well, maybe I'll do that one. Do this smile. So you can also copy pictures. So I'm going to right click on the picture. And as soon as that pops up, I'm going to copy the image. Oh, thank you. Then I can go to Photoshop and paste it, Control V. Whoops, that did not work. Let's try that again. If you're copying an image, you do want to follow it to the original source to make sure that you get the highest quality image. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing better. Let's see how the quick selection tool does on this. We can make it smaller. There might not be enough contrast. We'll see how that works. It's actually working pretty decently. Okay, make this a little smaller. Okay, so if you accidentally select more than what you want, you can remove it. So I'm going to switch to the polygonal lasso tool. If I hold down the Alt key, it will let me remove. So all I have to do is hold Alt until I click the first time, then I can let go, and it'll let me go around, and whatever I select will be deleted from my selection. If you need to add to it, you can hold the Shift key. So over here, I want to add a little bit more. Just come back to where you started, and it's complete. Okay. So since I want to get rid of everything except what I've selected, I'm going to go to Select Inverse again, and then Delete or Control X, and I'm good to go. Control D is how you deselect. Zoom out, and now I can move this around where I want it to go. I think I want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And now I'm ready to move on and add more to this. If you have something that you want to put on its own layer, you can copy. So I selected it. I'm going to copy, Control C, delete it, Control X, paste, Control V, and then I can move both the eyes independently. So if you want to clean up edges to make them softer, you can switch to an eraser tool. So the regular eraser tool, and then I want you to notice the brush options. You can put the hardness all the way down to 0. That'll make it a really soft edge. You can also change the size. So I'm going to make that smaller. And then you can kind of like fade out your edges. Oops, I forgot to switch layers there. So I kept the eyelid because I like how that looks. All right, so I'm going to move these where I want them. I think I'm going to give this some arms and legs now. Okay, I'm going to clean up around my edges because I noticed I brought over some areas that I didn't want. So I can use one of my selection tools to go right along the edge and delete that. Zoom back out. I need to kind of fade these, so I'm going to soften up the edge with my eraser. Ooh, that'd be funny to give it like bird legs. I'm going to close these documents that I don't need anymore. I'm also going to save, because really we should do that after every major step. Just keep it as a PSD, and I'm going to move it to my documents folder. I'm going to erase that a little bit, and I'm going to put some shoes on these bird legs because the feet are actually going the wrong direction. You can combine tools, so I noticed that this deleted what I didn't want it to, so I can go back and correct that. All right, delete, select, and I'm just going to erase those. Put those on separate layers. Control C, Control X, Control V. And I can make them bigger. Select other layer. That's a little too big. You know what? I think I need to move everything up. So I'm going to, I have auto select layer turned on, so I can just grab these and move them where I want them to go. And then I'll put them back where I want them after I have a little more room to work. We need to go back to the legs and erase a little bit right here. Okay, I think that potato looks alive. I could always add a nose or more details. I want you to combine at least 5 different photos. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos in mine, but it's whatever you think looks good. Another thing you can do is come to your photo that you put in for your background. If I can add a shadow. So if I switch to the burn tool, the shortcut is just the O key. I can come and I can kind of paint in a bit of a shadow underneath. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, save on my computer. I'm going to change Photoshop to JPEG. There we go. And hit Save. Just hit OK for the options there, and you're good to go.